Hey everyone, Mark Bennett here, ID Life. I do apologize. I'm actually in the middle of moving houses, and things are going to be a little bit crazy today. But you know what? Hey, we're going to still make this live event work because it's very important that we jump on and we continue to educate the world on some very important topics. And today's topic is one size fits no one. The whole idea behind this presentation today is to identify the fact that we're all just a little unique. We all have our own little needs that make us who we are, and more importantly, make us a little bit different than the person next to us. So let's kind of jump in. We all are just slightly different. We all have a little bit different hair color. We all have a different eye color. We all have different skin tone. We all come from different places of the world. It is our uniqueness that makes us special. But it is that uniqueness that we need to make sure that we're paying attention to when it comes to our health, our wellness, and our nutrition. You guys don't want to see that. And boom. Now we're back in. How about that? Sorry about that, guys. All right, so let's jump in. We have to stand out in a crowd. Or we do stand out in a crowd, even though everyone looks alike. Everyone seems to think that humans are humans, but the reality is there's slight differences. There's that one thing that makes us who we are. There's those one few little items that we have in our DNA sequence that others just don't have. And that becomes very important when we're making decisions on what kind of medicine that we're seeking to take care of issues that we have, as well as what nutrition that we may need to improve our health and to reach our goals, frankly. ID Life stands for Individually Designed Life. That's what we are. That's who we are. It's all about Healthy Simplified. And today I'm going to give you an understanding of why we do what we do, why we focus on the individual, why we have an individually designed program that is for each unique person. So let's look at this one. Over 3 billion letters make up our human DNA sequence. That's 3 billion different letters make up our sequence. Now, what's interesting about that 3 billion letter mark that makes each one of us a little unique is that, they are all compared to what we call the reference human genome. And what that means is all the genomes are tested, but they're all tested against the reference human. I'm not sure who the reference human is. I'm not sure where that came from. But the reality is we have a reference human genome that everyone is tested against, and the reality is there are 4.1 to 5 million variations. Each individual that has ever been tested has 4.1 to 5 million variations of their genome to the reference human. Now, see, what's interesting about that is that basically means that, of all the people that kind of look the same and everything, even though it appears the same, we're 99.5% the same. See, that's it. Every human is 99.5% the same. Now, why we have so many fights about, culture and religion and all that make no sense when you know that we're all 99.5% the same. And the reality is we're all made almost identical, but that 0.5% makes all the difference in how we look, how we feel, where we come from, what language we speak, what our accent is, what our mindset is. That 0.5% makes all the difference, but most importantly, it makes a huge difference in what we need to be healthy. So let's go through that. We also have these wonderful things. See, beyond the 0.5% difference that we have in the way that we're made up, we all have unique personalities. See, what works for one person, how you talk to one person is a lot different than how you talk to somebody else. Prime example, if you're talking to a red personality type, guess what? Be short and to the point. If you're talking to a green personality type and you're short and to the point, they're going to think something's wrong because they want the details. They want to know all the different aspects of everything that's going on. So, you have to be very, very careful with who you're talking to and how you're talking to. And they also act differently in how they respond to different issues. So make sure that you understand that even personality types are different. So beyond the biological, but that uniqueness, how we react to situations, what we look like, all those things, that's what makes us special. So today is one size fits no one. I mean, the only thing that we have in common in this country, the only thing that we all have in common is we're all sick. See, we all, even though we're 99.5% the same, 5% different, or 0.5% different, we are all sick in this country. We are all suffering from the same issue. And part of that reason is we have a one-size-fits-all approach to everything, from the food we eat to the medicine that we get. Everything is one-size-fits-all. See, so let's look at some of the stats. You got 75% of people that are dying from nutritionally related diseases. You got 74% of the population's overweight. 75% are sleep deprived and 75% are dehydrated. I mean, we have issues all over the place with regard to medicine because we keep trying to do the fad. We keep trying to make everything fit into a single box. We don't appreciate or understand that we're unique, and each one of us needs to understand what we need and stop paying attention to what everyone says everyone needs. See, this is where we're eating right now. Right now, our average snack is 586 calories, guys. I mean, I hate to show you that, but that's just the reality of where we are. 586 calories. Ladies, it's 421. That's just a snack. Our average calorie intake is 2,375. This is a big issue with regard to why we're all sick right here. We are all on these goals of trying to make ourselves healthier, but this is the reality of where we currently are. Let's look at this one. Our average body fat percentage for men is 28.1%. That's only 1.9% away from obese. I mean, that's how close we are. Okay, ladies, you're at 40%. That's just the reality of where we are. That's the body fat percentage of the average lady today, and that's why, for the first time in history, ladies have actually taken over men as the heavier sex on Earth. That's actually something the New York Times just recently published, was that ladies for the first time have actually taken over men as the heavier sex. And then, of course, we understand that the fat burning percentages of calories from fat versus muscle. The more muscle we have on the body, the higher our metabolism is, the more that we actually get out of what we're trying to do, and the more fat we have, the lower the metabolism. So what's interesting is if you look at this statistic, the fatter we get, the slower the metabolism is. I mean, we're sick, guys. And the problem is we keep focusing on how everything is supposed to be based upon a general idea that we're all created the same. We got to change the mindset. Here's one of the biggest contributors. We're all addicted to sugar. Now, at 99.5% the same, but guess 100% of us, for the most part, and there may be some exceptions, but 100% have an addiction to sugar. And I do say addiction because, remember, sugar has the same effect on the body as cocaine in the addiction quality standpoint. So same effect on the brain. I mean, it's identical. And here we are a sugar society. We take some information, and the average person in ID Life, when they're answering questions, is talking about how they only have 1 to 2 servings of sugar per day. What's interesting about that is that's what people really believe. They don't feel like they're adding sugar to anything. Here's the reality, guys. You don't have to add sugar to anything. It's already there. We need to pay attention to what's going on. I mean, I talk to people all the time that say they're reducing their salt by not adding it to anything. 89% of people's salt consumption is already in the food that they consume. They've already added it in there as a preservative or just a simple additive for flavor or taste. It's something that we need to understand. We are sick. And then, of course, the biggest one, diabetes. I mean, this number is astounding. 100 plus million are diabetic or pre-diabetic. 28% don't know it, and they're walking around as ticking time bombs. Our children, I mean, there's so much type 2 diabetes in children now, we dropped the terminology of adult onset diabetes. It's not even used anymore. That should say something about our society, that we don't even use the term adult onset diabetes anymore, because so many children are developing type 2 diabetes that we can't even call it adult onset anymore. And what's interesting is last year, 2016, UCLA came out with a study that said 55% of Californians, California, a state that we typically identify as somebody being healthy, 55% of Californians are diabetic or pre-diabetic. That's how bad this is. These numbers are a couple of years old. I'm afraid when the new numbers come out what it's going to look like. Einstein said we cannot solve the problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. That's a very important point, and something that I want to go through next. Because, the whole idea behind this presentation is one size fits no one. And I want everyone to understand what we mean by that. See, because if you look at pharmaceutical, it's basically a compound manufactured for use as a medical drug or as a medicinal drug. So the idea behind a pharmaceutical is we're going to give you something for an ailment, disease, or condition that you have in the hope that it's going to help or assist you with that issue. Now, the problem is we're not all created the same. What you're looking at here is the 60th anniversary of the Guinness Book of World Records, the tallest man in the world, 8 foot 3 inches tall, and the shortest man in the world, 1 foot 7 inches tall. Now, can you tell me that a pharmaceutical designed for a particular disease is going to work, one pill will work the same as it does for the tallest man in the world as it does for the shortest man in the world? Forget they're from different parts of the world. Forget the fact that they have different parents, different genetics. They have 4.1 to 5 million different markers within their DNA sequence that is different, that's going to make them unique. Forget all of that for a second. Let's just talk about the general size. Can you literally, if you use your common sense, think for a second that a single pill can work the same for both of them? Well, if you do, then why don't we just have something called a multiceutical? You know, this is a single compound manufactured for use as a medicinal drug for all conditions and diseases. You ever heard of a multiceutical? I mean, the whole idea behind this concept is, you know, I have one pill, and no matter what disease you have, no matter what condition you have, if you have, heart disease or you have a headache, you take the same pill and it takes care of your issue. That is insane. That is that kind of thought process is the thing that will get you in a straitjacket. Say that in any type of environment, and you're going to get looked at like you have 3 eyeballs. There's no such thing as a multiceutical. But yet every single day, you know, the industry is understanding that not only do we not have multiceuticals, the industry, the medical industry is saying, look, one size fits no one. Not only does one size fit no one, we're going to go to something called precision medicine. Precision medicine means we're going to treat each individual uniquely. We are going to basically take the time to understand their individual genetic genome process. We're going to make drugs. We're going to identify their diseases. We're going to treat those diseases through pharmacological drugs specific to the individual as opposed to a one-size-fits-all. And this isn't even a multiceutical concept. This is more of a, hey, not only do you have heart disease, you have a unique genetic makeup. We're going to make a particular heart medicine just for you. That's how precise medicine is getting. But even though medicine has understand this, and we as consumers are all on board with this, guess what? We're still doing the multivitamin. We still think we can take one vitamin, one nutrient, and it takes care of all of our issues. Really? I mean, we just went through the process of medicine is getting so precise that they understand that there's no way that one thing can fit all. They understand that there's no way that one drug can take care of every disease we have. And now all of a sudden, you know, we go back into the vitamin world and people think, oh, well, multivitamin is all I need. Really? That can't be the case. I mean, common sense doesn't allow us to make that leap. So what do we do? You know, what can you do? I mean, is there another option? I mean, if multivitamins don't work, then what in the world can you do? How can you get to what you need? How can you get to that precision medicine type approach to things where we're treating each individual uniquely, where we're giving them exactly what they need and nothing that they don't? How do you do that? Well, at ID Life, we've actually developed a system to do just that. See, in 3 to 5 minutes, you're going to go through a HIPAA-protected survey. It takes literally hardly any time. You're going to provide some information, and that information is going to be used to give us the information that we need running through a system that is going to process over 7,500 independent third-party peer-reviewed studies. On top of that, it's going to it has over 5,500 algorithms that are running through the system at the same time to compare your conditions, your issues, your personal profile, your allergies, your dietary profile, things that you consume. All of these are being cross-correlated with the science that is built into the system. We're going to ask about medical conditions that you suffer from, both things you've been diagnosed with, as well as things that you may have as symptomology. See, symptomology is important because so many other people cannot go to the doctor these days because they simply can't afford it. The whole idea behind this concept, the whole idea behind this system that was created was to give you the information that you need. See, and we're even going to ask about medications. Not only the pharmaceuticals that you're taking, because if you didn't know, pharmaceuticals are nutrient dependent. They actually require the body to have certain nutrients for them to actually work properly. And when the body is depleted of that nutrient, either the pharmaceutical doesn't work and you get a new pharmaceutical from your doctor, or they up the dosage, and a lot of times you end up going to the hospital. And if you didn't know, the number one reason for people being admitted to the hospital is properly prescribed pharmaceutical drugs. Things that they thought were fine, the doctor thought was fine, just didn't appreciate or understand. The body was just depleted of the nutrient and had an adverse reaction. You know, we're also going to ask about your physical profile, your height, your weight, things like that. But then you're going to get to the end. And when you get to the end, you're going to have a recommendation, not a multivitamin, forget multivitamins. You're going to have a recommendation for a specific profile just for you. This regimen is going to give you everything you need, nothing that you don't. And in fact, we're also going to even give you a little Y button, and I'll get in here closer so that you can see it. When you click on that Y button, it's going to say, hey, here's the answer that you gave. Here's the reason why you need it. More importantly, here's the science that you can go read yourself and understand that somebody in your condition, with your situation, with your diet profile, with your medical history, with your current conditions, and your family history needs this nutrient and this specific amount. That's how specific this gets. This is precision nutraceuticals. That's what we're in. That's what IDLife is in the business of. We're no more going to be this multivitamin. We are cutting edge, giving people exactly what they need, nothing that they don't. Now, the other thing that you're going to get is a free report. That free report is just about you. Hey, even if you don't want to get out of the multivitamin world, even if that's something you still, want to partake in because you think that's just as good as everything else, take the assessment for no other reason than just to get this information. Find out what your current health score is. As I tell everyone, the average person is going to score between a 60 and an 80. If you scored below a 60, don't worry. We all start somewhere. If you scored above an 80, hey, here's what I suggest. Go back and take the assessment again and don't lie this time. And everyone always laughs when I say that, but the reality is a lot of times when we take these questionnaires, we are literally trying to answer the way we want to be true, not necessarily what is true. We want to actually take the time to answer this thing honestly. Why? Because this is 6 to 16 pages of information just about you that is going to make diet and lifestyle recommendations for you that are going to improve your health. The integrity of IDLife is that nowhere in this report does it recommend an IDLife product. Nowhere. What it says is, hey, you suffer from hypertension, but you also eat processed meats. Did you know by simply reducing or eliminating your consumption of processed meats, you can naturally improve your hypertensive state? Little things. Remember, you are in the mind modification business, not the body modification business. If you are truly trying to change your health, you are not going to do that by focusing on the 40 inches around your waist. You have to focus on the 6 inches between your ears. Because when you do that and you change the way you think and you change the way that you act, guess what? You will improve your health forever. This is not some short-term gimmick type thing. This is something that's going to give you information about what you need to know. And more importantly, if you happen to currently be taking anything that's not on that recommendation list, find out why. IDLife is going to tell you why it's making the recommendations for you, but you need to find out if you're taking something and it's not on the list, why are you taking it and what is it doing to you? Because the reality is this, not all nutraceuticals are created the same. And in fact, you could be taking something that is being more harmful to you than helpful. At the end, IDLife has simplified nutrition. We call it ID Nutrition. That is the program that you get. It's delivered to you, strip packs. It incorporates chronobiology, so you get it in the morning on the things that you need in the morning and evening on the things you need in the evening. The day of the multivitamin is gone. We know that. We know by looking at what medicine is doing that multivitamins are a thing of the past. They don't work. They will not help you. Same thing with multiceutical. There's no such thing as a multiceutical. There is no super pill out there that we take for all diseases, all conditions, all ailments. It doesn't work. We cannot use the same thinking that has gotten us into the sick issue that we have in this country, because we're all sick, and think that we're going to get a different outcome in the end. Einstein also defined that as insanity. We have to think different. We have to understand our unique needs. We have to understand that we're all a little individually designed and have things that are very special that we need that are going to make us different.